Tati hoshi, uyifake ejele. Ejele ufaka amacuffs uzobuzwa. Uzobuzwa ubunandubu lapho. Hey. Tati hoshi, uyifake ejele. Ejele ufaka amacuffs uzobuzwa. Uzobuzwa ubukharobu lapho. Hey. Welcome to another episode of The Dissection. So Kumalo has finished his testimony. It's done. He gave the longest testimony to the commission of all the witnesses. And let me start off by saying this. He is the man that he thinks he is. He is Himothy. He is the first of his name, the captain of the unbroken and the unbowed task team. He is the breaker of the hosh, the ignorer of the emojis. He is who he thinks he is. General Dumisani Khumalo. Dumisani Khumalo. Hey, Vumanibo. Dumisani Khumalo. That's a name that people will never forget, especially if their names are Shibiri, Sibia, Libia, Mboto, so on and so forth. They're never going to forget this man. Now, the commissioners were clearly impressed with his presentation. And I must say, I want to add my name to the commissioners. I too was impressed with the quality of his presentation, the completeness of his presentation, the thoroughness of his presentation. One of the things that we look for when a witness is giving testimony is demeanor. And the demeanor that he presented was such that he came across as experienced, he came across as professional, and he came across as truthful. He showed South Africa video footage. He showed us proof of payments. He showed us text messages. He showed South Africa what I have rightly called a plethora of evidence, a preponderance of evidence, an immediacy of evidence, So much evidence that the fishers of evidence have changed their tone. They were asking, where is the evidence? Where is the evidence? Now they're reporting, this is the evidence, this is such and such that was presented at the commission. The 180 that they've done, jumping onto the bandwagon as if they're not the ones who are acting as if there's no evidence. They're not the ones who are amplifying a narrative that sought to discredit, to poison the well, to demonize the very same people now that we have seen with our own two eyes have evidence, and they have it in abundance. We've seen it. Not only do we have a clear view as to the workings of the task team and the value of the task team, and it is indeed an efficient and process-driven unit that is vital to policing. Not only do we have that view, we have a clear view of the events leading up to the arrests and following the arrests of Vusi Matlala and Katiso Molefe. We have a full view of the various members of law enforcement, various levels of law enforcement who were involved in hosh kari behavior or were facilitating, aiding and abetting hoshirism and shenanigans in hosh karistan. We have seen this because of the testimony of Kumalo and others, but Kumalo came with the files. We have a full view of all of this, how various members of society have worked with the hosh kari community to facilitate large-scale criminality and violence. Because of this testimony, because of the testimony, we have a full view of the modus operandi of this particular cartel. And we've come to appreciate how someone said they were so brazen in doing everything that they've done, carelessly recording themselves on their own cameras. And then when those cameras were seized, boom, shakalaka. Now we know what the scoop was shaking when they were doing hosh kari behavior. They were carrying personal cell phones at times, which implicated them having conversations on WhatsApp, civilian WhatsApp. Not Signal, not Telegram, not Morse code, not via pages. Basic WhatsApp, not even WhatsApp for business, just WhatsApp. The brazenness led to carelessness, which led to them being banjwadness by none other than GSI Ops and the task team as they worked together to apprehend these skebengers. These people were so brazen. They were even dating hosh kari mamas, making them wear blue, trying to be socialites, influencers. And the hosh kari mamas were coming onto Instagram, all of that stuff, posting, claiming that they were blessed, highly favored, blessed going in, blessed coming out, blessed nge hosh kari. Hosh kari blessings. These are not blessings, but the proceeds of cursed behavior. Come on. We've seen all of this because of the evidence. We can clearly see that the most brazen move made was the attempt to disband the political killings task team. That was a move made out of desperation, but a move which ultimately was a blunder because it got these police officers who were serious about police work to come out and fight crime, not only in the ranks of policing, but in the court of public opinion. And it's good that they did this. Before I go on, these hosh karistans and the hosh karimamas, fathers, dons, ancestors, all of the levels in the ancestral hosh plane. Didn't you guys watch Casino? Didn't you watch American Gangster? Do you not know? Casino, don't wear the chinchilla coat. American Gangster, don't wear the chinchilla coat. You guys were not only wearing the chinchilla coats, you're buying blue Lamborghinis, you're dating hosh karmamas, you're money laundering in nightclubs, you're shooting people in the streets, you're shooting whistleblowers, AK-47 bullets are flying left, right, and center, you're phoning people, you're phoning media. What's going on? Did you not see the footage? Did you not see the content? These are movies based on real stories about people who lived. And you were supposed to look at those as people participating in hoshiriganism. There's hooliganism and then there's hoshiriganism. You guys were doing all of this and you didn't even watch the footage of the fictionalized real-time story. What? I don't know, man. I don't know. But it's good that they came to the public with all of this because we would have not known the full extent of the work of these characters but for the events of the 6th of July. Fiasco Sunday, Conundrum Sunday, Crinkum Crankum Sunday, Miasma Sunday. But for those actions by General Mkhwanazi, we would have not known. And we would have not known because we would have not had the testimony which we have now heard at the commission. You know, there's an impression from the Sibiya camp that the public is not being rational in how we've reacted to these revelations. And that's wrong. Firstly, the public was very aware that something funny was happening with all of these people who were claiming to be blessed, buying cars all over the place, living in mansions and all of that, but nobody was seeing them going to work. Nobody was seeing the businesses that they were running. It was all looking a little bit hoshy from the jump. People have always known that they are cartels. People have always known that, you know, certain people have impunity at police stations because they shoot people in the neighborhoods and then they're seen out on bail. These are things that have just been confirmed. What the police officers were able to say in testimony under oath was what the public has always known. So when you sometimes ask, but why is the public not siding with us? It's because they could smell the hosh from a mile away. They could smell it already. They knew it already. They knew it. They knew the hosh was going down. They knew it already. So now the public also has now ascertained and used their own discernment as to what has been presented. This idea that there are smart people called so-and-so in the media who can tell the public, those days are gone. The public has always been rational, but the media has manufactured consent before. But it's harder now to manufacture consent because the public doesn't just go and listen to what is being said there on TV or what is being said by a newspaper. They also go to other platforms. They watch for themselves. Public is rational. The public has discernment. They have reasoning capacity. The public, you know, everyone just acts as if the public dropped out in grade 3 or something. No, many people in the public have law degrees, accounting degrees. They have studied. They are teachers. They are engineers. They are accountants. They work professionally. And even if they are still studying and are completing studies, and even if some of them only have matric, they have this and they can use this. And they've been observing the hosh kari behavior, the hosh shenanigans by the hosh karistans, the hoshiri behavior. They've been seeing it. So now you're like, oh, but why is the court of public opinion not siding with us? Why media? Please help us. Tell the public. The public has seen already. The media can't help you because the evidence is overwhelming. Overwhelming. Plethora, preponderance, nimeity of evidence. Overwhelming. Overwhelming. That's the reality. You want the public to respond in a favorable way with a paucity of rebuttal, a paucity of countervailing facts and evidence, a paucity of real explanations as to how it is that your cars were seen receiving bags of chocolate. Dark chocolate in white bags. You need to explain that, but you have a paucity of answers. Now you're worried why the public is not on your side. It's clear. Look, I want to do a full summary of the 4 days of the Dumisani Khumalo testimony as a standalone episode. I think that will either be ready on Thursday or Friday. I want to do it justice because I think that's the very least I can do to a man who has 5-pillar approach, evidence, data-led, data-led investigation approach, prosecution-led approach. A man so meticulous that he doesn't even have the cool glasses. He's got the I'm busy glasses. I ain't even trying to get a look glasses. I'm just trying to read paperwork. I forgot. I'm going to look for one of those thumb, what do you call those thumb things for flipping pages? Just to show homage to the man, to show that I appreciate what's happening and what he did. So expect the full summary. I think that's necessary. And it's going to come through Thursday or Friday. Look out for it. The reason why I think it's necessary is because, he is the man that General Mkhwanazi told us would bring the evidence, and he's done so. They told us he's coming. General Khumalo is coming. General Khumalo is coming. I was worried. I was like, this guy's not going to deliver nothing. But he came through, and he came through in a big way. He is the man who's been vouched for by the National Commissioner Masemola, vouched for even by General Behaviour. The witnesses who were investigating this particular cartel have spoken so well of him. You can tell they're risking their lives, in part because of the stature and integrity of this man. Right? And the only people who've complained about him seem to either have been trying to prevent him from doing his work, and they seem not to have clean hands in all of this. General Sibia at some point was even saying, no, Kumalo is not an investigator. I don't even think he's an investigator. Hey, he's investigated you, Baba, effectively with files upon files. Sibia was the one who was most vocal about General Dumisani Khumalo. And now, even if he didn't do the formal training, the course that you did, we can see that he's conceptualized systems, strategies for dealing with organized crime. He's a key resource to policing in South Africa, and he must be allowed to do his thing. Let the man roll out the pillars. Let the man roll out the analysis-led system. Let the man do the prosecution-led system. He was able to get Katiso killing time Molefe in a short space of time. He couldn't get the KT ready, and they got him. Got Molefe. Imagine that. Hawks were flying. All of those things were happening. They still got him. He's out on bail. It is what it is. And those reasons are not justified. But you can see that this guy is the man. He's a key resource to policing in South Africa. General Sibia is the Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Prevention. But the reality is that one of the crimes he's supposed to be preventing, like kidnapping, has gone up. We don't even know where Jerry Bushoka is, if he's still alive. And it happened under his time in office. And some of the people who are being mentioned as perpetrators of the kidnapping of Jerry Bushoka are people that now we've heard are close to none other than the Deputy National Commissioner himself, General Sibia. So now what are we supposed to think about that? Matlala, he says he's your guy. He says you are a criminal. He says he's giving you million, 500,000, giving you impalas that die. Rest in peace to the impalas. Rest in peace to Warambe. Now So if I had to pick, I pick General Dumisani Khumalo. I pick him every time. And in the middle of this, Brown Envelope Mogotsi, he just couldn't resist he couldn't wait for his turn to go to the commission. He was like, no, I need to. So he's been located, and he gave a statement to police following these allegations that there was an attempted hit on him Monday night. And, I gave him benefit of the doubt yesterday morning, but the more I hear, this was just a fabrication, an episode of Generations. It was a hoax. That's my view on it until I see something better in terms of evidence that supports his version. he went today to give a statement because yesterday they were like, where's Brown? Why isn't he giving a statement? He's like, let me go give a statement. And then they were like, we've been looking for you, Mr. Brown Envelope Mogotsi. Please, can we give those devices to us? Because he's been evading the police since the 16th of October up until the 5th of November. So basically, for this period of almost 3 weeks, he's been avoiding the cops. Now, in a stroke of irony, the Fabricated shooting has now delivered him straight into the arms of the police that were looking for him. If we wrote this down as a script for Netflix without this having happened in reality, they wouldn't believe us. They would say this is too crazy of a story. This is incredulous. It's extraordinary. How did this actually happen? It happened. Yesterday a witness was saying on ENCA that they saw Brown Mogotsi step out of the red vehicle, start shooting at it, and get picked up in a white VW. That's what the witness said. So if that testimony is verified, it means that Brown actually, he'll be facing a case of obstruction of justice. He'll be facing a case of this whole false shooting incident here. He's basically made his own situation worse. It's unclear what he was trying to achieve. Was he looking for sympathy or just looking for attention? Or, he was panicking, he's paranoid. I don't know what's going on. But right now, at this point, I can't corroborate his version. Initially, I gave him the benefit of the doubt, but now I can't corroborate his version. And, he may think that he's deleted the phones, but sometimes they're not even looking for your messages. They're looking for that cell tower history. They're looking for so much, and they may find some stuff in those phones. That's why I think he kept them for 2 weeks. And you could tell he doesn't want to show his messages. But now they will have capacity to look at the messages. I don't know what he deleted. I don't know if he spoke to the tech specialist who helped Matlala the first time to raise devices. We'll see. Then something else happened that was just, bizarre. The mainstream media gave platform to the bouncer businessman and convicted criminal who was traveling with General Sibia. And this is the same thing that has been happening. We saw it with Paul O'Sullivan, the interview on the 6th with Paul O'Sullivan. On the 6th, he says, well, I've looked at the allegations made by Mkhwanazi and I'm able to tell you now that they are not credible. Within an hour, he had looked at them. They asked him, which ones? Why are you saying that? He's like, well, I can't tell you right now. I'll tell you later. Trust me, bro. They're like, where are your sources? He's like, trust me, bro. Those are my citations. That happened. Then there was the Serge Kabonge interview. Remember, where he's like, no. What did he say? Tobega, she's just on tracks. Serge. Now they are saying that you live in the same property as Mr. Sibia, who you said is your friend. Then we saw the Calvin Rafati interviews, the multiple self-snitching interviews done by Brown Envelope Mogotsi. It's been a movie, a drama, a series. Because now we've got another guy who the media also gave platform to. Tupac was not lying in his hit song, Mzansi Don't Cry. Remember the lyrics when he said, the media, yenza amanyala like they work for Matlala. You remember when he said that? Media, yenza amanyala like they work for Matlala. But they could never stop a real G like Mkhwanazi. Mzansi Don't Cry. Gotta keep your head up even when the road is hard. Never give up, Mzansi Don't Cry. You guys need to find that song on the Spotify's, on the playlist. You don't remember this song? Tupac was not lying. He could definitely see. Prophetic, that guy. He recorded a lot of songs in advance before he passed away. Machiavelli. Foresight. He knew what was going to happen. Now, it was so interesting to see the media give this time to this gentleman here, Muscle James. Sounds quite bewildering to observe. Media is already facing a credibility crisis, and still they were doing all of the things that they're doing, right? Public are seeing the hosh kari behavior in HD. Media is giving hosh shenanigans full platform. First, let's be clear. That man, Muscle James, he must go to the commission and explain his version under oath. Go to the commission. He says Kumalo knows him. And if that means he thinks Kumalo approves of him because Kumalo met him somewhere, that actually reminds me of when Spear met Mkhwanazi. With Minister Mkhunu, he thought everything was okay. But then 6th of July, boom, shakalaka. Press conference happened. Someone can meet you and know you. That doesn't mean they approve of you. Khumalo doesn't like hosh kari behavior around him. He's allergic to hosh. So Mr. Stuart Bicep James, while he's admitting to the charges against him, he says it was just one case. That seems like, does he think that makes it okay? Mr. Chuck and Brisket, he didn't address the issues of the cases withdrawn. He didn't address some of the things like, yeah, that's my car, very expensive car. I just gave it to this guy. I don't care what happens to the car after. No, you need to tell the commissioners that. We need Advocate Lee Sigal Ngube to ask you some questions. We need you to go to the commission and explain your ndaba there. He said he had intimate knowledge of the allegations facing Sibiya. That's why he was in parliament. But he just says, no, I don't know Sibiya that well. How do you have such intimate knowledge that you are needed in parliament? Where lawyers are needed in parliament, where the legal counsel is needed in parliament. What do you have to contribute to? You need to go to the commission and explain this. I don't think explaining on ENCA or Eyewitness News is enough. I'm not persuaded. I don't know, guys. What did you make of the events in the last 2 days? General Dumisani Khumalo, his testimony, Brown Envelope Mogotsi, and all of the shenanigans around him. Mr. Muscle James doing multiple media interviews. What did you make? Let's meet in the comment section. This episode was a bit late. I had a busy day. You're gonna see. I got a surprise for you. You're gonna see it soon. I was busy with that today, so it delayed me a little bit. But let's meet in the comments. Soon and very soon, we are going to see the hosh. Soon and very soon, we are going to see the kari. Kwanazi uyabopa yonke le hosh. Hallelujah, uyabopa, uyabuya, umkwanazi.